All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've already talked about this, but the Steelers killed it all off season, whether it was the draft, whether it was free agency. They did a phenomenal job. You got to give them at least an A minus. Personally, I'm going to go ahead and give them a grade of an A. You brought in some great pieces, guys like cornerback Patrick Peterson. You revamped the offensive line. My favorite quote, he who controls the line controls the game. So what do? You bring in the draft, Broderick Jones, and then in free agency, you bring in almost Super Bowl champion Isaac Samalo and Nate Herbig. So you get some great pieces on the offensive line, guys who are versatile, guys who fit in multiple schemes. You traded up to select Broderick Jones, which was a great idea. So your offensive line, because the rush game last season, while the statistics aren't the worst in the world, the offensive line, especially in the first half of the season, was just not a move. So I loved that, right? And then on the defensive side, you kind of retool the entire linebacker unit. You bring in Cole Holcomb in his last healthy season. He almost had 150 tackles. You also bring in Landon Roberts, who had over 100 tackles last season with Miami. So two great pieces at the linebacker position, combining for almost 250 total tackles in their last two healthy seasons. And you re-signed Larry Ogunjobi. You also brought in Keanu Neal at the safety position, and you traded for Allen Robinson for a wide receiver 3. Now, in today's video, we're going to talk about a couple of reasons why I fully believe this team's winning at least 10 games next season. But before we do, Steelers fans, my first ever Steelers video, I made it about 24 hours ago. We're over 1,000 likes. It is absolutely crazy. Thank you guys for welcoming into your team. The fans, you guys are awesome. I appreciate all the love. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, hitting that sub button, if you enjoy daily NFL content, certainly going to be making a lot more Steelers videos for the rest of the offseason and next season. So maybe let's try and get 500 likes on today's video. I appreciate it so much. I want to talk about a couple of things real quick on the offensive side, because I said 10 wins yesterday. It's probably going to be at least 10 wins. It's going to come down to a couple of things. So I loved that you got Allen Robinson, right? I loved the 3 new additions at the offensive line. A lot of next season to me is going to come down to offensive coordinator Matt Canada. All right, now I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt last season, because you're going from Big Ben to Kenny Pickett, the rookie. To be quite honest with you, I know Kenny Pickett's statistics aren't sexy to like an outsider, but Steelers fans are excited for a good reason. He finished the last, 2 months of the season, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. That 1 pick came in that Raiders game. I know the stats aren't like 350 yards and 100 rushing yards, but trust me, it's a rookie, and it takes time to acclimate to the NFL, right? We all know this. And if you just use the eye test, if you're a Steelers fan, basically, and you watched these games last season, like, there's a reason they won 5 of their last 6 football games, all right? The Steelers last season, or was it 6 of their last 7 games? It's cool to finish the season after they start 2-6. It's cool to finish the season above 500 when you start 2-6. So they won their final 4 games. They lost to Baltimore by 2 points before that, and then they took down Atlanta and Indy. So they won 6 of their last 7 football games for good reason. But once again, Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett, definitely need to see some improvements with Matt Canada. They kind of have a possible replacement. They signed, or they picked up, I should say, former Arizona State offensive coordinator Glenn Thomas to be an assistant coach. So that's something to keep an eye on. I think competition brings out the best in everybody, but honestly, I just fully anticipate this Steelers team to average over 20 points next season. Now, will that be enough? We can talk about that in a different video, because we're going to need to see more points per game, but more importantly, we're going to need to see that offense pull out some wins. But when I look at the offense, just like vaguely, just generally, outside of Kenny Pickett and the offensive line, I'm looking at guys like Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. It's an extremely underrated running back duo in the National Football League, and with this new offensive line, they're just going to steamroll people. power run. Like, they are going to steamroll defenses next season. Then I look at the receiving unit. I'm like, all right, we have Deontay Johnson. You have George Pickens, who had an extremely impressive rookie season, averaging over 15 yards per catch. You also made a nice move in the draft to pick up a tight end. You bring in Allen Robinson, and of course we have to talk about Calvin Austin III, who missed all of his rookie season last year with Pittsburgh. Calvin Austin, in the comment section on my video yesterday, was getting so much love, and it's for really good reason. This dude is fast. He's not fast. He's fast. Played at Memphis, and in his final senior season, 74 catches, almost 1,200 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He had over 2,000 yards in his last 2 seasons. I mean, this is a guy who is going to, as long as he's healthy, which I hate saying that because it just goes without saying, but anyways, he brings another dimension, more versatility, more creativeness. So my point here is this: with the continual improvement of your offensive line, with the continual improvement and development of Kenny Pickett, with the continual additions that they made, whether it's at the wide receiver position, guys coming back like Calvin Austin, the tight end draft pick, whatever it is, this offense is, it's not like crazily revamped, but it is retweaked. It has been retooled, and it's going to be a completely different offense next season. So that's something to keep in mind, because Pittsburgh, even statistically, last season, their defense was still top 10 in points per game. They only gave up 20 points per game. And once again, they started 2-6 with a rookie quarterback who didn't even start off the season for them, with a bad offensive line, and they almost made the playoffs. They finished 9-8. And they have one of the more favorable schedules, not only in your division, the AFC North, but in the entire National Football League. So that's why I'm saying 10 wins at a minimum here. I was seeing some 12-win predictions yesterday. I absolutely love it. But to me, it's at least an A offseason, combined free agency, the draft, trades, whatever you want to throw in there. It's an A offseason. And basically, until these guys hit the field, I'm anticipating that it will be an A+. But defensively, they're just continuing to improve. All right. Another season 2, defense coordinator, it's always going to be more improved. And I loved their draft pick in Joey Porter Jr., this guy, and Keanu Benton. But Joey Porter Jr., to me, basically like the overall sum of every NFL draft insider or analyst that there is out there, is that the Raiders, oh my goodness, the Steelers picked up 3 top 30 selections. All right, so these are all guys who are going to have, like, honestly, their first 5 draft picks are going to have, or 4 draft picks, are going to have a day 1 impact. All right, but Joey Porter Jr., the more that I look into this cat, the more that's coming out of him. He has that it factor. He has that swagger. He knows he's that dude. It's almost in like a humble nature, though, where it's like, yeah, let's just get to work. I'll show you. I'm one of the best cornerbacks. I'm the best cornerback that came out of this draft, but I'm going to show you. So the physical team has been built, and especially with Mike Tomlin at the helm, at that head coaching position, I feel really confident with Pittsburgh. Now, I'm not saying, especially with the way the AFC is looking right now, I'm not saying next year the Steelers are going to win 13 games. They're going to go 13-4, and they're going to make a run at the Super Bowl, but they're going to continue to build the blocks to eventually make the Super Bowl. And I guess, you never really know what's going to happen. Who knows? Kenny Pickett next season could turn into an MVP caliber player, and it could just speed up everything. But there's a timeline, there's a process to this, and Pittsburgh has been unnaturally aggressive in the offseason, which I think is a genius move. So that's really it for today, man. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Seriously, Steelers fans, I cannot believe my first ever Steelers video got over 1,000 likes. Like, just words can't even describe the smile on my face right now. It truly is life-changing. So I appreciate you guys so much. The most important part about watching this video is leaving your insights, leaving your opinions down below. Guys, give me a win-loss prediction if you want, but I want to hear your off-season grade. Once again, I'm giving it an A, probably going to be an A+, but don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoy.